Hey, I am back. So I said I was getting back to you. So this, I don't think I said this before in the quote. Is Trisha of Triumph with Trisha here? That expression is you can have results or you can have excuses, but you can't have both. I was I was messing it up, and I was like, I don't remember what it is, and what I'm saying doesn't sound right. And then it came to me later. I'm gonna take those off. I don't like the rings. So there's four most common forms of excusitis. Okay, they're health excusitis, intelligence excusitis, age excusitis, and luck. Those are the most common ones because it's really a thing. So how would you get over it? How do you, I don't know that I would say cure, but how do you get over it? What are we doing to not be victim to this anymore? To not still be dealing with these ways of thinking? And the other stuff in the mini series mindset. This is when we understand the importance of mindset and being positive and your thinking and what's and who are in your environment and the benefits and effect that come from positivity, right? Affirmations, meditating, all these things. It's really mind blowing when you see, oh, I was doing this or not doing what have you in another environment, and good in another environment, and now uh, I've made changes to my personal life, my schedule, so on and so forth. So anyway, those are the four most common forms of excusitis. Because I did a part one, I wasn't gonna do this and put it out today. I was gonna do tomorrow, but I don't need to. I'm inspired now. There's no reason to wait. Like let's just go. I'm creating value. You see what I'm doing? Ding! I'm creating value. So me and my talking points, see, highlighted and all. So, uh, how do you get over this? The health excusitis is refuse to talk about your health ailment, right? So the worse, the more you talk about it, is the worse it actually seems to get. I know that if I'll use it like this in this way because I do have issues with migraines, and some days, and not most of the time, but on occasion there are some migraines that are absolutely horrific, and it is this incredibly horrific pain. Is there? I don't know. I don't even really know that I have the words to describe it. Moving on. It could be a pain in your, in your shoulder, in your, in your side, what have you. But the more you talk about things, it's like it's growing, it's getting worse. I do not feel better. I don't feel better. And that all these references, by the way, are from the book. This is not all the stuff that I came up with. This is directly from this book. So the author is David J. Schwartz, and it's The Magic of Thinking Big. Now, I don't have any links or affiliate things for Amazon for the book. I do not have that. Not at this time anyway. So if you choose to get the book, awesome, go and do that. But what I'm talking about here is also from his book. Where was I? Refuse to talk about your health ailments. The more you talk about it, is the worse it seems to get, right? Talking about bad health is like, I actually understand this. Talking about bad health is like putting fertilizer on weeds. Hmm. I never, I probably wouldn't have used that example, but I'm like, oh, I get it. Refuse to worry about your health and exercise some self control. You know what? I agree with that. However, it's not really a however. I definitely know worrywart syndrome. So not practicing your faith if you're a person of faith, um, believing in the positive thing and what if this does work, so on and so forth. I know firsthand the worrying and the bad news and the what if this happens and all things negative. It's learned behavior, right? And that's some stuff that I've had to unlearn, and I practice unlearning. I text one of my amazing children earlier to receive my Instacart. I don't have a deal with Instacart. I say them often enough on here, but the groceries otherwise would have been outside and getting colder, starting to freeze. And the awesome child of mine did not respond at the time. So now that I cut my video short and did all these other things and picked up the food myself and brought it in and put it away, he just responded now. I just think it's funny because the food would have been frozen right now. So that's what the chuckle was for. Moving on. So where were we? Fertilizer. So refuse to worry about your health. Oh yeah. So there's been other things that have gone on in some in my life, some in my family, and there was no communication when there's other things that were going on when my mother was ill and so on and so forth at that time. So there was a feeling to what the situation was, and when she was being treated for, she did have cancer at that time. And so when she started chemo, this is what I know, that my family and my parents were doing the best that they knew how to do at the time to protect me, and they didn't want me to worry and be scared for my mom and stuff. But there, I did not know that she had this diagnosis, and when she started chemo, there's things that I didn't know. And even though I could feel something was not just off, but something was wrong, the day she started her treatment, I knew. I opened the door and I felt, what is wrong? And I went and I found my grandma and I was like, what's wrong? Because I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was, right? So, she fought with it, she battled with it for, a few years on and off. But, a few years later, she did pass away from it, and I was 17 then. And that's not the only thing. Like, I've had family members in my home. My grandmother, both my grandmothers lived with us, my parents and me. So, learned behavior. This one has been a struggle for me. At the end of the day, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm still unlearning things where it could be this, or this, and you go to the worst case scenario first, and then the panic and the anxiety and the I can't sleep and I don't want anything to eat and all these other negatives that can start to happen. And I know that I can remind myself, what if it's none of this? What if the thing works? Or it's just not even this situation. This is just what it looks like right now, but everything is actually fine. Not going to the worry first. I'm also a woman of faith, so I pray. Sometimes, because I'm still a human, I do feel the worry and the, oh, I don't know, when I'm looking out of my natural eye. And I don't know, I can't see, I don't have, those things, thoughts, or feelings do arise. But I do pray. And when I catch myself at the times that I'm not just praying about something that is a concern first, I remind, hey, go to your source. You're going to pray. You have your Lord and Savior. That's where you're going first, right? So that's why you saw my face like, not worrying. I agree with this statement, but I also get where it can be difficult. But you just have to unlearn the things. It's simple. It's not necessarily always easy, but it's doable and you can do it. What's next? Be genuinely grateful that your health is as good as it is. So, I got a lot of pain, as an example, a lot of pain in the feet. It hurts every time I walk. But are you grateful that you have feet and or the ability to walk? And that is not me being funny or shading anybody that, does not have the ability to walk. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying you can come across somebody. It could have been you where the situation was much worse. Every morning when I wake up, I'm saying, Lord, I thank you because I'm here. There's somebody that planned to do something today or, tomorrow, and they're not here to do the thing, right? So if there's nothing else, because I practice gratitude, I do. But if there's nothing else that you can think of in your life, you can be grateful that you're here another day and you have an opportunity to turn things around. Because that's a lot to be thankful for. And then reminding yourself often that it's better to wear out than to rust out. I don't remember this expression. I've never heard it like this before. Don't Life is yours to enjoy and don't waste it. That definitely, I agree with it, is something I've heard before. And don't pass up living by thinking yourself into a hospital bed. What's the thinking yourself into a hospital bed? Is the worrying, right? The worry, well, what if I don't know, I can't see it, da, da, da. Enjoying your life because it's a gift and it's here to be lived and enjoyed. But this first one, it's better to wear out than rust out. I like it. I feel like I get it. Yes, you hear the paper. It's my talking points. I'm going to have them. The next excusitis is intelligence excusitis. This is like I lack brains. I'm not really smart. I'm not a whatever science person. I'm not a math person. I don't do all this. I read slow. I have this condition that. I'm not really smart enough for all that. Any of those things, and you just maybe believe you don't have the smarts. That's not what his book says. I added all that other stuff because I'm trying to provide some other examples. What it says in his book is I lack brains, right? So ways that we can get over this, work through it, cure, if you will, it is never underestimate your own intelligence and never overestimate the intelligence of others. Don't sell yourself short. I'm going to tell you, this one right here, I feel it. I feel it in here because underestimating your own intelligence. Probably I would talk about all the things that I have accomplished that I didn't know I could have, and it's not stuff that I had planned or was actively working towards before. At a season of my life, I was an army wife, and I had my first baby. Well, my first two, my now ex-husband, my now ex-husband was deployed, right? And so making it back hours before our first child was born. The second time, I think it was 2 days before she was born. And I'm doing all of this, having a baby, and then they go back to their deployment. So they're just home for 2 weeks, and I'm dropping off, you know, my then husband, and then to the airport, excuse me, and then going to the hospital for a doctor's appointment for the baby's 2 week checkup. And all the journey, it's a lot. That was very emotional. The nurse is like, are there any reasons why you might be emotional or experiencing stress? And I was like, lady, are you serious right now? Um, but I did it. That is not the way that I ever envisioned my family and having my first child with no friends or family around, you know. But the inner strength, I'm a praying lady, and so I absolutely tapped into those things. And now he's big 19, Um, and then I had another, and I grew up an only child, so I did not grow up with the frame of reference for siblings, and you always have somebody to play with and all that. Like I didn't. It took you might argue, you might fight with each other, and then you get. I don't have this as a frame of reference. And now I have two babies. They're all 2 years apart, and I have three. And I was like, wow, I'm outnumbered. After I had the second one, I was like, this is beautiful, and they're similar in so many ways, and they're also different because they have their uniquely distinct differences in their personalities and stuff. And I was like, wow. And I love the feel of family. I love that I have these kiddos here to nurture and raise and all the things. But although I always wanted to be a parent, this is just the example I'm using. I I've actually did it. And there's all these other things in my story, which in bits and pieces I'll be sharing in my channel. But at the core, I I didn't know I was as strong as I was, like going through a treacherous divorce. I don't know when and exactly how I'm going to share that story because holy snap. But the what am I saying? The strength that it took to deal with all the circumstances surrounding that. I didn't know I had. And I have always understood that I am a strong woman, but I didn't know that I could be as strong as I needed to be to go through all the stuff that I was about to enter into, right? And I'm very much here on the other side of that thing. So, overestimating the intelligence of others. Well, Lord have mercy. That's I have been there as well. You think this person, whatever it is, they're well traveled, they have had a wealth of great experiences. Maybe this person has all these degrees and stuff. Uh, that may not mean what you think it means. There's probably a host of other examples that you can draw from your own life. But over as you're doing too much. You're thinking this person is way, way, way up here. Ah, you know what? Let them show you who they are, right? And not selling yourself short. I don't know that I totally did, but I did awesome as a mature student with grown up responsibilities and parental responsibilities, being a student and my grades and stuff. And I am a much better student than I ever would have said if you asked me. I would be like, yeah, I'm all right. Not thinking I'm stupid, but I'm actually really good. And I love to learn. I love the education of things. So, don't sell yourself short. If there's something that you want to do, you should plan, figure out a way to do it. Remind, what? Remind my attitudes. Oh, remind yourself that my attitudes are more important than my intelligence, right? So at home and at work, practicing having a positive attitude. That's a good one. I agree. It was a little bit. I think I forgot a word here. That's why I was like, what does this mean? The next one, remembering that the ability to think is of much greater value than the ability to memorize facts. I guess I would take that to also mean your critical thinking. When you hear something or somebody is saying something to you or trying to bring you into an environment that does not sit well with you, you can ask questions. When I was in school, I was taught if you don't understand something, you put your hand up and you ask a question because it is a teacher's job to teach you and explain the things to you in a way that you can understand, right? So, as a parent, I remain open. That doesn't mean I actually want to talk about every single thing that my kids want to talk about, but I'm not above a conversation, right? I want them to know that the door is always open to discuss things, but to discuss. We're not barking at each other. That doesn't actually get anything accomplished. Not for me, right? So that's what I prefer to do. And I speak with them. We live together, and I see them every single day. So there's conversation. However, they also get that Sundays it's angry mom. You already know what that is. Why is this still happening? Why is this not done? A B C D E F G. Let's go. You all have things to do, so on and so forth. But again, I prefer that the door be open, right? And it's an attitude of that is positive. Me dancing, hearing music, laughing at stuff, sharing things that are funny and generally pretty light is how I prefer to live. And so I try my best to do that, leading by example. Let's see here. Remembering, oh yeah, the ability to think. Did I just go back to the second one? Let me finish this. The ability to think is of greater value than the ability to memorize facts. Oh, I actually got off my point. To the ability to memorize facts. I think I will call it critical thinking. When you're hearing something, your perception of what's happening or what has happened is like, this does not sit well with me. Ask questions. You can be your own advocate, and you should. Ask a question. Put your hands up. Say, do your research, right? Your own due diligence, and get to the bottom of that because you do have the ability to think and to think for yourself. So the next one is age excusitis, where you have a mindset of I'm too old to do such and such, or I'm too young. I don't know about that yet, right? Look at your present age. This is how we're getting over it. It's 3 steps. Look at your present age, right? Look at it as a positive and think I'm still young. So even if you are considered older, you can look at yourself and remind yourself that you are still young, not I'm already old, right? And I'm too old for, take that out of your vocabulary, remove it. Next, compute how much productive time you have left. So life is actually longer than most of us really think. So I didn't do percentages of if you're at 30, you have this much life left, or if you're at 50, you have this much, because I don't really love the numbers like that, because none of us know the day, right? The date or the time. So with wherever you're at in your life right now, and there's still maybe things that you haven't done, pardon me, things that you haven't done and you still really want to do, look at it. I'm good. I got a good measure of time left. You know what? I'm going to take action. I always want to this. Do it. There's probably, if you're feeling that way, there's probably people on these other platforms, the YouTube, on the TikTok, on the IG, that are doing things and you're living vicariously through them, right? But those people also inspire other people to do the thing, to do a, what do you call it, surfboard or scuba diving, or what take this dance lesson or whatever the thing is. You can be somebody that inspires somebody else to just be full in your life and live it, not reckless abandon, but live your life to its fullest, right? Luck. Oh, this is the last one, the last excusitis example. And how can we get over this way of thinking? To look at is to, they're so lucky, everything just works for them. It's always, they have such good luck. Thinking in that way, if we're looking at cause and effect, right? So accepting the law of cause and effect, you find if you take a second look, oftentimes you find that it wasn't just luck, but that it was actually preparation, right? Um, and planning and success producing thinking. That's mindset stuff. And that's not the type of language that was being used necessarily from when this book was created, right? But that's still what it means, your mindset. Where was I? Producing success producing thinking. Don't be a wishful thinker, and don't waste all your mental dreaming of effortless ways to win and be successful, because it doesn't just come like that. It's success comes from doing the things, that learning the skill, mastering these principles, and that is what produces the success. And I really hope that the things that I have shared, again, I don't have a link to provide for you for this book because I just don't have affiliate stuff. Maybe I'll look into that, but I don't have affiliate stuff with Amazon. This is a book, The Magic, uh, The Magic of Thinking Big, and it's David J. Schwartz. And there's other reading material of this nature, but this one is very well known. And I hope that it blesses you and that you use these examples here that I've shown and the more common types of excusitis. If you recognize yourself in there, then that's the first step, and that's really good because you can say, "Oh, I do this. I think I just said that this morning," and start to unlearn the things that are not getting you to the place that you want to actually go in your life, that are keeping you from living your dreams. I don't want to just be here in this seat, always living vicariously through this person who's doing something else I want to do. But I don't know because I have kids and that. No, So this is me even doing this channel, is getting out of my comfort zone. Sorry, and there's like, I think it's some little stringy thing that came from here. Um, Getting out of my comfort zone, putting this information out here that one day, when my kiddos are big and whatnot, they have a reference to see things. Oh yeah, she did always say that. Mom used to do this and she said this. And I remember this expression that she used all the time or whatnot. But it comes from a good place. It's good vibes. I'm in agreement with everything that I shared with you, because this is not information that I created personally myself, but it's all said with love. And, I'm going to link. Oh, I didn't link it in the last video, so I'm going to do that. To contact me for a consultation if you see that you could benefit from some life coachy things. And like, please, and thank you. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll speak with you soon.